Hey guys, now going along with my other recent video on how to adjust your levers for not only comfort but best control of your bike, another thing that a lot of riders aren't aware of is that your foot controls are also on most bikes very adjustable, both the brake lever and your shift lever. It's very easy to do. You may not know exactly why you need to do it, but I'm going to go ahead and show you, and you might improve the comfort of your bike with just a few minutes and a couple wrenches. Now this is a Yamaha FZ09 and it's a very standard layout. You have a simple one shaft construction. You've got your peg here, you've got your shift lever here, and a connecting rod. That goes up to your shift linkage that is actually right into your transmission. This turnbuckle here is for adjusting the position of this shift peg as it relates to your foot peg. And what this does is gives you a varying amount of clearance when you want to upshift, and a varying amount of clearance to where your foot angle is when you go to downshift. Now ideally, you want to set this up not only so it's most comfortable for you, but you want to do so because it gives you the safest operation of your bike. Here's how I set it. It's a fine balance. I want the lever to be in the best position so that I can downshift without having to tilt my foot uncomfortably up. I want to be able to easily and quickly slide my foot forward and have it be right in the best spot to land on top of that shifter peg. And likewise, I want to be able to get my foot underneath very quickly and easily and not have to tip my toe really far down to clear the peg, but also not have a gap. Because if I've got a gap from where my foot naturally lands for an upshift, that means I can lower that and I can make it easier for a downshift. Now in this bike here, there are no reference points. You can pretty much put this wherever you want to. This is a simple construction. Other bikes, you're going to have this on a separate axle, and there's going to be a range of adjustment. Usually I have some marks to go by, but this one, it's completely up to you. Now spoiler alert, I am replacing these pretty bad, to be honest, foot pegs. They are narrow. It's got this little kick knurl at the end, and they're all metal. You get a lot of vibration through them. They're just very low quality, basic pegs. If all you're used to are these kinds of pegs, if you've only ridden the lower end tier of bikes, you may not know that there are a lot better pegs out there. And what I found was this mount is the same size as the FJR pegs, so I've got much better, wider and rubber topped pegs coming in. So I will be readjusting this later on because that's going to add some thickness and I'll want to correct that angle. That's exactly what this is for. Likewise, on your brake side, you want your foot to naturally and quickly slide forward to be able to hit that brake lever at exactly the right angle. You don't want to have to pick your foot up. You don't want to have to tilt your ankle at all to hit that. And this again is completely adjustable. So let's go ahead and do it. It's super easy. On the shifter side, on this particular bike, all we need is a open end 10 mil wrench. We have two lock nuts, very much like your chain tensioner. The only thing to note is one of them on any given bike is usually going to be a reverse thread. In this case, it's the bottom one, so this is a left-hand thread. Up top, normal, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. Backwards on the bottom. So both of these, you're going to turn clockwise to loosen. So just give yourself some slack, and then we can turn this entire turnbuckle here. There's some knurling here, so you can just use your fingers, and that just screws it in to make it longer or shorter effectively, changing the height of your shift peg. And that's it. You just put it where you need it. Now in this case, I have a little bit of a gap here with these stock pegs, so I need to drop this a little bit lower. We need to lengthen the shift rod, and we just spin it until it's exactly where you want. And just spin it, put it where you think it is, get on the bike, feel it, adjust it. It's going to take you just a couple times. And I'm spinning the rod clockwise to lengthen it, and I drop down about a centimeter or so. So I'm going to hop on now and see if that fits. And that was just a hair too low, so I'm going to split the difference. And that's going to be exactly right for me. Let's go do the brake side. And over on this side, it's just a hair too tall for me. My foot wants to hit it if I slide forward. I just need to drop it really just a few millimeters. And in this case, it's very simple. We have one nut we have to loosen, and we need a 12 mil open wrench for this one. This is your adjustment mechanism right here. It's just on a pivot, and all we're doing is changing how far this bottom section attaches to the shaft. Now this is a little tricky to show just because it's hard to get the camera angle in here and work. But what we're going to do to adjust this, we've given our top lock nut here some slack. The bottom one is captured inside the bracket here, so it can't spin. What we're going to turn is the entire adjustment shaft. And that's done with a 10 mil open wrench on the top of the shaft here. Now this little rubber boot, it's just folded in on itself, and it's basically like an O-ring seal right here at the top of this shaft. What you have to do is hold this rubber boot securely so it won't spin, because you don't want to twist it and knurl it all up. It doesn't spin freely, but it does spin if you hold it in place. And then as we turn the shaft with the wrench, that's when you just keep this rubber straight. And what we're going to do is close the gap. So I want to lower this. I've given myself a little gap on the top adjustment nut here, and that's all about I want to do there. So this is in the spot I want it to be. We're just going to close up that gap by adjusting the center shaft and raising it up until they're snug. And then we'll retighten this. So what I need to do is hold down here and then carefully turn the shaft, making sure that the rubber boot does not get twisted. And again, this is where it's a little difficult just because of the camera, because I'm in a weird spot here. It's really not that difficult if you do it from behind. There's a joke there. And if you do get it twisted, just recenter it, get a better grip. Okay, that's where I want it. Now we just snug back the lock nut with a 12. And we're done. That's it, guys. Hope this helps somebody. Definitely set your controls, both levers and foot controls, to where it's best for you, and believe me, it makes a big difference to your riding experience. See ya!